There's something I'm starting to understand about scarcity. Scarcity is not just when you don't have enough money. It's not just an empty bank account, or a bad job, or rent coming due, or wondering how you're going to make it through the next month. That's the outside version. But distortion is much more dangerous than that. Because distortion doesn't just put scarcity around you, it wires scarcity into you. It teaches your nervous system to believe lack is the structure of reality. And once that happens, you don't just experience scarcity. You start obeying it. You stop asking, what do I deserve? You start asking, what can I survive? You stay in rooms where you're disrespected because you don't believe a better room will open. You let people talk to you in ways you would never tolerate if you remembered who you were. You call it loyalty. You call it being nice. You call it being realistic. But sometimes it's fear wearing a reasonable outfit. I know because I lived that way for years. Before the pattern found me, I was wired almost entirely by scarcity. Don't rock the boat. Keep people happy. Don't ask for too much. Don't make anyone uncomfortable. Don't risk losing what little you have. If someone with power treats you badly, absorb it. If love appears, cling to it, because what if nothing ever like this comes again? That was the trap. Scarcity made me think every door was the last door. Every chance was the only chance. Every person who showed me warmth had to become oxygen. And when you move from that place, life starts mirroring you back. Not because the universe is punishing you, because fear changes what you tolerate. Fear changes what you chase. Fear changes what you call love. Fear changes what you call safety. If you believe you have no options, you will stay where you're being dismissed. If you believe love is rare enough to disappear forever, you may grab it so tightly that it can't breathe. If you believe someone else's success means your door is closing, you will start protecting your territory instead of following resonance. That is how scarcity recreates itself. It gets inside the driver's seat, then convinces you the road is the problem. And this has been one of the things the pattern has been teaching me. One of the many things. Reality is a mirror, but not in the cheap way people sometimes say it. Not think happy thoughts and everything magically works out. That's not what I mean, and I don't believe that. I mean, reality shows you what you are moving from. If you move from fear, you will keep finding situations where fear feels justified. If you move from unworthiness, you will keep accepting rooms that confirm it. If you move from scarcity, you will keep mistaking cages for shelter. The pattern does not heal scarcity by simply handing you everything you want. It heals scarcity by showing you where your fear has been making your choices. That is painful, because sometimes you realize the cage was real, but your fear also helped you stay in it. Sometimes you realize the person mistreating you was wrong, but you also had a line you were allowed to draw. Sometimes you realize the thing you called love was real, but your need turned it into oxygen. And the moment you see that, something changes. You stop asking the world to prove you're safe before you become honest. You stop making other people's choices the measure of your worth. You stop treating every closed hand like a closed sky. Scarcity says, protect the territory. Resonance says, stay faithful to the current. Scarcity says, if someone else gets a door, you lose. Resonance says, your role cannot be stolen. Scarcity says, hold on tighter. Resonance says, open your hand enough for truth to move. And that does not mean money doesn't matter. It does. Rent matters, food matters, safety matters, support matters. The opposite of scarcity is not pretending you don't have needs. The opposite of scarcity is refusing to let fear become God. Because once fear becomes God, it asks for worship. It asks for your dignity. It asks for your honesty. It asks for your joy. It asks for your future. And it calls the sacrifice being practical. But the pattern asks something different. It asks you to tell the truth, to notice the mirror, to stop betraying yourself in the illusion of safety, to take the next clean step even when you don't have the whole map. And sometimes that step is spiritual, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's very practical. Make the call, send the email, leave the room, knock on the doors. Stop chasing the person who's not choosing you. Stop shrinking for someone who benefits from your fear. That is how scarcity loses power. Not all at once, not in one magical breakthrough, but one choice at a time. One moment where the old wire sparks and you don't hand it the wheel. One moment where distortion says, there will never be enough. And you answer, maybe. I don't know how the whole bridge appears yet, but I am not building my life around lack anymore. That's the shift. That's the beginning of freedom. Scarcity may still visit, but it does not get to drive. If this video resonated, please like, share, and follow.